Aloha and hello out there, everybody. What's going on? It's your host, Kevin Mihalik, as always, with 2Close2Call Sports, here in partnership with Usala Media and Usala Radio. It is just past 6 o'clock here, Tuesday, July 28th. Hopefully, everybody had a great day out there heading home on your evening commute, or if you're working second shift and you're on your lunch break, welcome in as well. If you're listening on usalamedia.com, do myself a favor, head over to YouTube, check us out there. We're live. You can stare at my beautiful face, throw us on in the conference room, at work, wherever you're doing, the lounge, whatever it is, throw on YouTube. I know everybody's streaming everything nowadays anyway. I mean, myself, I got the Amazon Fire Stick rolling. I got the Google Chromecast popping in one of the rooms. I'm doing it all here. So I know you got the app. You can stream it, flick it, fling it, sling it, whatever it is. Throw it up there here starting next week, as well as join us. I want this to be a community effort. So every Tuesday here, 6 o'clock, I want to be able to pull up the YouTube, read some comments, discuss back and forth with you guys, Philadelphia sports, and what the heck's going on out there. So let's dive right into it today, because we got a jam-packed show for you here, at least very much so on the front end. And honestly, we're going to start with baseball. We're going to start with the Phils, and then we'll roll through, the four sports here in Philly. I got my Fly Guys gear on right now because if you're unaware, they are currently scrimmaging the Penguins. I got them on here to my left. It is 2-1 Flyers. 17 minutes left in the third period here, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later, so hang tight. Starting off with the Fighting Phils, and the question you're probably asking is, Kev, what the heck's going on? I'm reading all this, coronavirus stats, no baseball this. Where are we, dude? What's the deal? So basically, as of this minute, and that's really all I can give you, because from hour to hour, minute to minute, things are changing. But here, just past 6 o'clock, I'm going to roll through what's happened and where we are now. So very quickly, Saturday into Sunday, the Marlins are in town Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They come into town after facing the Atlanta Braves. Okay, no problem. Well, Saturday into Sunday's game, when they get tested, it comes back that 3 Marlins have tested positive, including the starting pitcher. You guys some details sprinkled in here that we found out at a later point, but it has become aware that apparently the Marlins decided as a team on Sunday that they were going to play, even though the positive cases have happened. They got like a group text going, a team meeting, and we're essentially like, hey, I'll play. Yeah, okay, let's keep playing. Major League Baseball didn't step in. Rob Manfred didn't have any conversations at this point. The Marlins were like, yo, we're cool. And then they also said, hey, we made the Phillies aware before the game Sunday that this took place, and the Phillies also agreed to move forward with Sunday's game. So for all of you fans saying, well, the Phillies wouldn't have played if they knew, well, they did know and they did play. So you are wrong in that argument. Now, was it a smart decision? That's a conversation we could probably have, but they knew, decided to, forge forward, so to speak. So, okay, Sunday night, it comes out, hey, we're going to test everybody because of the 3 positives. Usually it's every other day, every 2 days. They test everybody on the team Sunday into Monday. The Marlins stay overnight in town in Philly. Well, those tests come back with 5 more positive players and 2 positive staff members. So now all of a sudden you're up to 8 positives in 2 days. And I think it's a total of 12 over like a 4 or 5 day period for the Marlins. So now everyone's up in arms. The entire public, the media, this is a nightmare scenario. This is worst case for Major League Baseball. It's only been a weekend. They're dealing with this. How are they going to finish? How are they going to play? And then you exhale a little bit and you think to yourself, God, I hope Rob Manfred has been smart enough to actually assume that this was going to happen at some point. Now, yes, I don't think he believed it would be after 3 games, but you have to believe that he planned for this type of scenario happening. And he comes out and says, this is not a nightmare scenario. We expected this to happen. We believe the protocols in place are going to keep the majority of people safe. And then he gets ripped for not taking things seriously enough, or not, trying to demean the virus in some sort of way. And I'm just like, man, this dude can't win, right? So basically he's come out and said, yeah, I prepared for this. We prepared for this. Yeah, we know it sucks, but like, we're going to keep, moving forward. 30 other teams aren't sick, so we're just going to keep rolling and figure it out. People are like, what? Oh my God, people could get sick. This is ridiculous. It's just, man, some of these high level positions are nowhere near where I want to be in life. I mean, you used to aspire to be some of these people. And it's like, dude, in 2020, this is a lose-lose day after day after day, decision after decision. Like, come on, man. Let's not beat the guy up for basically saying, hey, we prepared for this. But back to the Miami Marlins. So they're now at 8-10. Well, okay, we're going to test Sunday into Monday, keep it around. And that's today. So no, Sunday into Monday was the 5-2. I see, it's crazy. I can't even keep it straight. Monday into Tuesday was 4 more. So into today, this morning, we found out 4 additional ones. So now we're up to like 18 guys for the Marlins, over half the team. What do we do? Do you call up the rest of the taxi squad? Is that what the 30-player taxi squad was all about? And that's what I think Major League Baseball is going to say. Hey, this is the reason we got 60 guys, because if 20 out of 30 of you go down, we got 30 to replace you with. So let's keep going. Let's keep moving forward. But what else has come out of all of this is the Philadelphia Phillies saved the Major League Baseball season. And if you haven't come to that realization yet, basically it's because 0 positive tests from the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies played the Marlins. Oh my God, can they be exposed? Should they travel to play the Yankees? Are they going to transmit things across the field? And now that it's come back here, the entire Phillies were tested Sunday into Monday, along with the Marlins, and then Monday into Tuesday. So now 2 rounds of testing have come back with 0 positives, which I myself find fascinating. I mean, it comes to show you how closely you do need to get in order for this virus to spread. But when you are that close, how easily this virus can spread. I mean, again, it's come out afterwards here. There's rumors on the Twitter sphere that some of the Marlins guys went out for a good time in Atlanta. I don't know what it is about Atlanta. Lou Williams, the Marlins, apparently everybody's got to go get these hot wings at the Adult Ballet down there in Atlanta. So I don't understand it, but go out in Atlanta. These guys are close together. It goes 3, 8, 4 every day, bang, bang, bang. But then it doesn't spread across the field or from batter to catcher, from pitcher. Some of the guys who I'm sure tested positive, which we don't know any of the names, HIPAA, woohoo. So they probably hit the ball, put it in play, ran to first base near Rhys Hoskins. It's just kind of fascinating to really see that this wasn't the outbreak. Because if the Phillies would have come back with 5, 7, 10 positives, this really could have snowballed and steamrolled, saying, hey, anybody in the building got it. But now it really is, hey, anybody in that clubhouse, it spread quickly. You guys got to get down. But everybody else keep playing on. So the Marlins schedule here this week has been canceled through Sunday. Basically, the rules state that you aren't allowed to travel back to Miami or back to your home, whatever, until you have 2 negative tests back to back. So some of these Marlins players may be in Philadelphia here for the next 2-3 weeks until they can test, negative here after a positive. And it's just like, man, so do half the team fly back? Do they drive? What's going on? Where it's so many questions, but they were canceled through Sunday, so through the weekend. The Phillies and Yankees series was canceled the first 2 days we know of here, talking to you at 6:10 on Tuesday. Tonight's game postponed, yesterday's game postponed. The initial rumor was the Phillies were going to travel to New York for their next 2 games. It was a split series, 2 games here, 2 games there, originally scheduled, but quote unquote, out of an abundance of caution, Major League Baseball has canceled those 2 games for the Phillies and the Orioles, who the Marlins were supposed to play, and the Yankees, who the Phillies were supposed to play, are going to play each other now for 2 games on Wednesday and Thursday in New York, and the Phillies and Marlins will be home. Yes, I don't know when the hell they're going to make up these games. I believe they said there's a week somewhere in August where they could potentially have a date or 2 to make up some double headers, do this and that. But there's also the communication. Joe Girardi came on MLB Network and discussed how he would be okay with having a season where not everybody plays 60 games. If it comes down to the end of it and the Phillies here play 56, 58 instead of 60, and it goes based on your winning percentage and not your actual win-loss total, he'd be okay with that. He realizes that 2020 is a year unlike any other. And of course, everybody would be up in arms normally. You have to play the same amount. Well, it's not the case. So if logistically things don't work to get in these games and you want to go by winning percentage, I think the players are going to understand and just say, hey, man, listen, we just want to play playoff baseball. We just want to get paid. We came to that agreement to expand the postseason. More teams are going to get in, more revenue, more money for us. So whatever you want to do, let's just have the playoffs. Let's just go. Everybody watching this kind of realizes, I mean, I've come to the point as a fan where I've basically decided I don't care if they win or lose, I guess, the regular season. And maybe it's because the Phillies are in the regular season. It could be different for the Flyers and Sixers going right into the playoffs. But I've come to realize here that I'm just going to be happy every day there is a baseball game. Like normally it's, I can't believe they lost. They're 1-2 against the Marlins. The Marlins stink. What are they doing? This bullpen's a mess. Nola's a number 2. He's not really an ace. Wheeler was okay. He just got away with it. Velasquez is the same old Velasquez. We'd be bitching and moaning on here about the Phillies. But truly, I'm just like, you know what? After having 3 games and then 4 non-games, I'm like, dude, I just want to watch the Phils. If they win, cool. If not, so be it. Because in my head right now, I'm going, this is a ticking time bomb. And this is, there's no way they make it. I'm trying to manage expectations and basically say, if they do make it, it's going to be fascinating. And we should all be proud of the achievement. Because from what we've seen with early returns, Major League Soccer, that's what I couldn't think of. MLS, 0 positive tests in a bubble. NBA positive tests. Yes, they've had some quarantine breaches, people leaving, coming back. Lou Williams in trouble, blah, blah, blah. But 0 positives within the bubble. The NHL in Toronto, they just released 0 positives within phase 3 up in Toronto. So when this virus has nowhere to go, it does seem to die. It seems to not spread and nowhere to be found. And if all these guys follow the rules with 0 positives, you would think it will remain 0. It's just the travel of Major League Baseball that correlates to the travel of what will be NCAA football and the NFL. And it's just, man, if baseball, we're 4 days in here and we got a team already under the weather, there's no way that they make it long term. It's just one of those things that it's not a good omen for the future. So just be happy we have baseball. So that'll wrap it up here, though, for the first segment. Too Close to Call Sports, Usula Media, Usula Radio. I'm your host, Kevin Mihalik, as always. We're going to pause right now for a word from one of our sponsors. But when we come back, my buddy Jamie Pagliaro, Pags, is going to join the show. We're going to talk some football, some NFL. We got some stuff to talk about. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. I'm talking too fast. I got so much yet to say. Oh, okay. Pags.
What's up?
Pags.
I'm here.
Up.
When are we on?
We're in commercial now.
Are we live? We're going to do this live?
Live
I
on
came
the
out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. And even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, Maria, and she convinced me to continue my education. Just never judges. She's a true role model. From the depths of my heart, I thank you, Maria, for being a friend and a beautiful person. No one receives a diploma alone, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. Thank you. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Too Close to Call Sports here on Usula Media, Usula Radio. If you guys are listening on the radio, then you can't see this beautiful man who has just joined me live on the YouTube version here. You guys know him as my boy Pags. Pags, what's up, dude? Thanks for coming on.
What's happening? What's up, Mio? How we doing?
Man, we got so much to talk about, and we got one segment to do it in, so I'm jumping right into it, all right? You
Let's
ready?
do it.
Let's earn it. Dude, Marquise Goodwin, today's news, the Birds, we got some headlines. Goodwin opts out. That's cool. I understand it. It's crazy. Whatever. No qualms there. Do your thing. Alshon Jeffrey, starting training camp on the PUP, which makes him eligible to start the year on the PUP, which if you've been listening to me over the course of the last 4 months, I have said is 100% of happening. People are talking about getting him back. Not going to happen till week 8. So what does this mean with the wide receiver position, man? Jeffrey counts against the roster. Pup counts against the roster, for those of you listening who don't know. So he does count as one of the 6 you're keeping here in the early 53 prediction.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the NFL, Jalen Rager. Good thing we signed him.
That's true.
I mean, it's definitely concerning. That's for sure. I mean, you got D-Jack, possible suspension coming.
Dude, he did the thing. I told everybody, I said, listen, he's going to apologize. Then he's going to have to educate himself. And then he's going to have to promise to be a better human moving forward. And if you've been following at home, steps 1, 2, and 3 have happened. Step 4 is don't do it again.
Exactly. All right. So go through this with me in my head. We got Rager,
Yes,
Deshaun,
Yep.
2 speedsters. Rager's, I hope he's a better player than some of these media people are saying.
Gonna dominate. Come on, let's go.
Okay. And then Ortega needs to find his balls. Ortega needs to.
Yeah, he's okay. I'm with you. He's on the squad this year. If he stinks again, maybe not next year. But
Oh, dude, they're not giving up on a second-round pick. He's going to be on the roster this year.
if he stinks, though, he's
It's going to be the Goddard Ertz show. That's what it's going to be.
gotta be. Because if you go down, and then you got Greg Ward. Everybody forgets our boy Greg,
Love Greg Ward.
best quarterback
Love him.
in AAF history or whatever it was. And then
Yes.
then I put the 2 kids. I don't know if they're both going to make it or if one makes it now, but you got to replace Goodwin, and that's the draft picks. Watkins out of Southern Miss, I believe it was,
Yeah.
and Hightower out of Boise State. Both kind of speedster, 6th, 7th rounder. Throw them in a pod. But if you keep D-Jack, Rager, Jeffrey, Whiteside, Ward, and then one of those 2, that's your 6. So basically, I think one of the kids just earned a roster spot because Goodwin said he wasn't playing this year.
Yeah. Yeah. What was Goodwin's reasoning? Did he have kids or did he just opt out for?
Yeah, he had a small kid, or not a small kid, a young kid, and his wife has had like miscarriages in the past. And
I gotcha.
a whole
Well,
thing.
then I completely get that.
Kind of like everybody else.
I'm just waiting for a year where we don't have to wait for Alshon to come off the pup because I feel like it's every freaking year. This guy,
My boy was dirty in Green Bay when he was healthy week 3. Watch the highlights, bro.
he was.
He was dirty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude when healthy. It's happened twice in 3 years, but when healthy, dominant. But no, I don't.
Yeah.
Know. I can't with him.
It's like I feel like we're living in a year where the Eagles receiver positions like the Flyers goalie position. We're like, when the hell are we going to have bona fide stars every year?
Yeah, and that's the turnover, man, because next year it could look even different. But, oh, man.
I mean, I'm hoping Greg Ward continues up with what he did at the end of the year last year. And with Deshaun, we saw what happened in the Redskins game. I mean, with him and Wentz, that connection was awesome. We only saw it for a half. So
Yeah, right.
hopefully that continues. And Rager, who knows? I mean,
But
stud
dude,
receivers always come out.
Dude, listening to Kaplan and everybody, they're talking Rager like the most catches on the squad.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that? Because Jeffrey, Pup, not going to be around. Whiteside hasn't shown anything. D-Jack, kind of a one-trick pony. Maybe his comebacks, but they think Rager, these quick screens, these bubbles, these crossing, like he's going to be kind of the guy outside of Ertz, less Greg Ward from the last month, the last season.
Yeah. And you got to factor in Miles Sanders there. Corey Clement's coming back healthy. He was lethal in 2017 out of the backfield, so hopefully that works out.
Boobie going to be any good? Is he like the real deal Holyfield, or was he just like, yo, you guys didn't know I could catch the ball because I didn't do it in college. I drop one of those 60-yarders a week, and now so like all I'm catching are out routes now for 5 yards, and I'm not getting 100 in a tutty every week. Like,
right? I don't know.
Or is he just the truth? And again, happened to be behind Saquon, so that's where we're at. What do you
I'm leaning towards the truth, dude. He was nasty last year. I keep looking back at that draw against the Bills where he just took it and he's bam out.
Dude, when I said that to you, I was like, yo, that one was like, peace. Like,
yeah, he was like, I'm out.
I'm out.
Should have done the Saquon that Saquon did against the Eagles.
Yeah.
See ya.
Idiot.
So
who
knows, man?
Transition.
I'm sick of talking about Eagles receivers, though. I'll tell you that.
All right, so let's talk different position. Let's talk squad here. NFL Top 100 voted by the players.
Yeah.
Players for the players of the players. Okay. 98, Brandon Brooks. Okay. All right. That's fine. I think he's better than that, but so be it. Right guard. 94, Jason Kelsey. Again, maybe the top center in the league. Probably not the 94th best overall player. No respect. It's cool. Darius Slay. I haven't seen him play week in and week out. I've watched my film, things like that. But He's at 92, which seems to be kind of where he is. Zach Ertz comes in at 85, which, okay, I guess a little low.
That
Probably.
one shocked me.
Yeah, number 2, 3, 1 tight end in the league. Again, maybe a little low. And then Fletcher Cox, the highest rated Eagle at 73, because spoiler alert, everybody thinks we're going to get one more when the top 40 are released, but we are not. And that has been made public, and it is the talk of ESPN today, my man. But Carson Wentz, not in the top 100 players in the NFL. Where do you stand on that? Were you shocked? Are you pissed? Or what's the deal here?
I was definitely shocked. When I saw, you had told me that this morning. I saw this 71 to 100. I didn't know that they did the 70 to 40 or whatever it was. I was expecting Wentz is going to fall within the 60 range, something like that.
Last year went from 3 to 98.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, moving up from last year?
Yeah, definitely moving up. I mean, he led the team on his back at the end of the year. But then I really think about last year. I'm like, he wasn't very good for most of those games. Granted, he didn't have much to do with, but I mean, he threw for over, I'm blanking on it, like 4,000 yards.
Yeah, but nobody had over 500. You got to remember that.
That's true. And that in itself is the exact reason why that guy should be freaking in it. He didn't have a single receiver over 500 yards.
Oh my God. Well, then throw it to a guy more often and get him 500 yards.
I don't think he could throw the ball any more than he did last year. They were bad.
Like by 1,000 or whatever it was. He had a couple of tight ends over that mark, which nobody talks about. But yes, he did not have weapons. I am not.
I'm honestly more pissed that other players weren't on the list. Now, I will be curious to see if Malcolm doesn't come in the 1 through 40, because technically he's not an Eagle anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, who else would you think would be on there that they missed?
Malcolm Jenkins was the one that popped in my head. I was like, but he's not on the Eagles anymore, so they wouldn't classify him as an Eagle.
But, dude, talking about Wentz, right? Again, this gets back to, well, who are the other quarterbacks on the list, right? If he's not on there, nobody's on there because he's the 4th best quarterback, especially here in the city of Philadelphia. That's what you hear locally. But,
yes.
I mean, this list here, dude, there's a couple of them, but I'll read you the ones we know so far. You read them, I'm sure. This is for the listeners. But 90, we got Mr. Murray out there in Arizona. 87, Allen up in Buffalo. 68, Tannehill, re-signs in Tennessee. Cousins, 58, up in Minnesota. 46, Dak Prescott. And number 43, Mr. Garoppolo out in San Francisco. And I very much assume you're going to get your Rodgers, your Breeze, your Ryan. Brady. I mean, there's 4, 5, 6 more. Roethlisberger, Russell, Wilson. Like, what are we talking, right? So Wentz is the 13th best quarterback, according to the players of the National Football League.
Okay, so you got Ryan Tannehill, who rode Derrick Henry's coattails all last year. You can't tell me Tannehill on the Eagles roster does anything of what Wentz did. Kyler Murray, Rookie of the Year, right? I believe he was Rookie of the Year, so you got to put him on there. And the other one that I was Josh Allen.
Yeah, Jared.
Come on.
All right, Jared.
Again, running teams. They ran the ball. Yeah, Josh Allen. I watched Josh Allen. I had him on my fantasy team. This guy stunk. He stunk.
He got 6 points for rushing TDs all the time. What are you talking?
Yes. There's no way you can convince me. Cousins, I'll take, even though I'm not the biggest Cousins fan. Garoppolo definitely deserved to be on that above it, and I would even give you Dak being above Carson. But those other 3, come on, like there's no way.
There's no way. And the Dak one, that high, surprises me.
It's insane.
It just because I don't, as a fan, an analyst, a human being, I can't comprehend or understand how Dak Prescott performs so well and the team loses constantly. Every year. Like 8-8.
Except for their first year.
But yet, I don't watch the game and at any point go, Dak Prescott is the reason they lost this game. Minus maybe the Birds when he had the shoulder, had some guys open, missed them late. But like, there's a lot of games where I'm just like, they just got hammered by the Rams today. Or who wasn't hammered them, last year?
The Jets.
Yeah, it's like
the Jets hammered them.
And somebody else. And then they came out and then they hammered somebody. And I'm like,
oh, the Bears hammered them.
Yeah, and then they'd
Yeah.
smoke somebody the next week.
The Rams. They killed the Rams.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. I had them backwards. And I'm like, what? How? And then you look down, 5,000 yards, like 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, like 70% completion percentage, fourth quarter comebacks. And I'm like, how's this team 9-7? Is it truly Jason Garrett? That's the only thing as a human being that I could put it on, because it's the only variable that's really going to change. So if they don't,
It really is.
I mean, I don't know, man. So like, I think he's a really good quarterback, but again, would I take Dak Prescott over Carson Wentz? Never in a million years. Like, I don't get it.
Exactly. I mean, the one thing that they have on everybody is Wentz is injury prone.
Right.
And I don't know if he's injury prone or he just has bad luck, because the knee I don't take as injury prone.
Right? Like,
What's that?
played all 16 last year, played a full season.
He did. He just, we had to watch Josh McCown.
Missed the playoffs. Should have just missed the playoffs. None of this would be talked about. The concussions, the injuries. He would have played a full year. He would have been fantastic in December. It would have been perfect.
Somebody asked me the other day how 2020 is going for me, and I go, well, I should have known it was going to be a crap year when Wentz got hurt in the first quarter, and I had to watch Josh McCown for 3 quarters.
Oh my God, dude! Right? So hey, let's go into that here. Last couple minutes, we'll wrap things up. You brought it up, Clowney, Wentz, the hit, transition, Clowney, free agent, New England Patriots, 6 opt-outs, which now means salary is off the books, which now means money available, which now means potential to sign Jadeveon Clowney. But I will say, Michael Lombardi was out there and said, Clowney and the Patriots scheme, so not personality, not money, not just on field, doesn't line up. No shot it ever happens. How do you feel?
That just makes me feel like it's going to happen, because the Patriots always take people that are like, they're like, Randy Moss could never fit in this Patriots team. Was he could go set records?
Cam Newton will never play for the Patriots. Lock it down. Write it up. No Jadeveon Clowney. No AFC East title. No Super Bowl appearance after they beat the Chiefs. I mean, it's just,
dude.
I don't know, dude.
They're gonna get Clowney. They're gonna get Everson Griffin, and then they're gonna be like, well, this team's better than when Hightower was on the team. It's
paying these guys less than those guys. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I don't know. A ton of opt-outs, though. Have you seen this list as it grows today? Have you looked at it?
Read it to me.
I mean, there's 2 Ravens, Andre Smith, kick returner, DeAnthony Thomas, star Lou Talele for the Bills is opting out, but he had that heart thing coming out of the draft.
Right.
So that makes sense. 2 Cowboys, wide receiver Stephen Guidry, corner Maurice Kennedy,
Okay.
something like that. D tackle for the Texans, the O lineman for the Chiefs, who was the starter. You're up to like 6 Patriots now. Hightower, Patrick Chung, Brandon Bolden. We got a tight end for the Saints. Chance Warmack, our old friend, opting out for the Seahawks.
Super Bowl champ.
Right. Some high risk guys here. Vikings D tackle, Patriots O line, the Washington football team. Hold on, now that came up, I'm gonna get you out of here on that one. But Marquise Goodwin, Patrick, so literally it's 15, 20, 25 people here, man. Did you expect it to grow that big that soon?
No. I actually give the players some props for taking a stand on, like, Hightower just had a baby in July, and if I put myself in those shoes, I'm probably doing the same thing. It's crazy. People say football's everything, and then you kind of look at it right now and you're like, I guess it isn't.
Coincidence that it happens 24 hours after all this Miami Marlins stuff?
Oh, you've no doubt. No doubt.
It took 4 days because some of the Marlins went out around the town in Atlanta, says Bob Nightingale.
And they're not even touching people like on the field. It's crazy.
Lou Williams chicken pepper wangs down in Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dude, I don't know what to do.
Before you leave, Washington, what's the nickname? Come on. Now.
Tribe. Go Tribe.
Ooh, you're giving up the William and Mary Tribe. I don't hate that. I don't know. Is that cool though? Is William and Mary getting slack for that, or are we cool with
No, that because it refers to a group. We had a feather in the tribe, and that got taken away.
Like Florida State, the Seminoles,
right?
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So who knows?
Cleveland Tribe, then, right? The Indians, and that just 101 there.
Just make them all the Tribe.
Yeah, let's go. So I don't know, but hey, man, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on. We had a ton to talk about. I appreciate it as always.
Absolutely.
So let's pause right now. Another word from one of our sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk some Flyers since they just wrapped up here. It looks like a 2-1 victory over the Pens. Stick around, buddy. We'll be right back.
Well, that was a quick 15 minutes.
All the time. So good. And that's why I try to get one person on like every show.
Gotcha.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Kevin Mihalik, 2Close2Call Sports, here with Usula Media and Usula Radio. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, head to YouTube, where I think we are on. I just lost video for some reason. Now we're back. Here we go. Trying to figure things out. Zoom, 2020. What are we doing here? It's not a big deal. Hey, hopefully you're with us. I appreciate it. Hanging with us here. But we're talking Philadelphia Flyers, where I just lied to you a moment ago. During the break there, I was able to check out the television screen. It is 2-2 in overtime, and the Penguins are on a 3-on-1. Oh, we got a save. Here we go. We're still playing hockey, but apparently the Pens tied it late. We had a rebound, it looks like, with just under 4 minutes to go for the Penguins. It's a 2-2 game here in the first hockey game, and I believe it was 141 days I saw online. I know it was over 130 between Philadelphia sporting events with the Phillies coming up last week. And then the Sixers, I think, were the last ones to play before the shutdown. Well, now the Flyers are back here 2-2 again in overtime. Today's goal scorers were Sean Couturier. He had a nice little one-timer in front of the net. Shout out to Mr. Couturier, who is a new, we got a breakaway. Kevin Hayes, he dekes, goes 5-hole save. Man, live sports. I'm broadcasting now, as well as doing radio and podcasting. God, it's good to be back with the sports. It's fantastic. Oh, goodness. But Sean Couturier scored earlier. And then let's see, Kevin Hayes had the extra tally as well there to give him the lead. And then from a goalie perspective, which is kind of the big deal here, how did the Flyers go about things? They first two periods, Carter Hart was in net for the Flyers. He gave up the one goal, played well. It was an early goal. Pittsburgh took the lead almost like 5 minutes into the game. So again, it was one of those anticlimactic return to sports for Philadelphia. I mean, the Phillies last week come back, dump game one. Aaron Nola, fifth inning, gets hit around. They end up losing. Now the Flyers come out. They give up a goal in 5 minutes. They're losing. And it's just like, oh, yeah, it's good to have sports back. This is woohoo. This is what I've been waiting for. You guys to just suck it up again. So shout out to you guys. But, a nice save there by Brian Elliott. He'll cover it up halfway through the extra period. I don't think we're going to go to a shootout because I believe all games will be determined 5-on-5 moving forward. But who knows? I don't exactly know what the breakdown is going to be. But kind of big picture for the Philadelphia Flyers. Like I said, they're now in Toronto in this bubble. Earlier, they went up there this past weekend, did the 48-hour quarantine. Now everybody is sequestered within the Toronto bubble. Again, the nation of Canada, very, very strict quarantine rules. If you guys haven't read these yet, I talked to you guys about them in past episodes with the Toronto Blue Jays. Oh, we got another breakaway. Oh, it's a goal. Here we go. Yeah, baby. Scotty Lawton wins it for the Philadelphia Flyers in overtime, the first game back. All right, let's go. Excitement. Let's go. Let's win the Stanley Cup. I mean, we might as well. I talked about the Phillies, who I'm like, yo, they're not even going to finish. I'm just happy they're playing. But I'm thinking playoffs with these Fly guys. The way they went into that shutdown as one of the hottest teams on the ice, one of the best teams in the NHL. Now they're getting this first round bye, so to speak. The play-in series is what they're calling it. Oh, nice little move there by Scott Lawton going top shelf, short side. Whoo, baby. Little dangle. Come on, baby. Top roof. Light the lamp. Bar down. All the different hockey puns you can come up with. Let's get them all here. Oh, shoot. But back to the coach, back to the Flyers. Alain Vigneault, one thing that I've kind of taken notice of, and I'm not sure how I ultimately feel about it, is that he's been very, very steady in the fact that he is communicating to the Flyers that August 11th is when they need to 100% be ready to go. And their first game, because again, they're in this top four that has their separate playoff games besides everybody else playing best 2 out of 3s. They have 3 games against Washington, Tampa, and Boston. But even if they were to lose all of these games, nothing were to happen because the Flyers went in as the 4 seed. And if they lose all 3, they would be the 4 seed. So the only opportunity is to improve. And this is where I'm getting the understanding from Coach Vigneault that jumping up in these standings is not worth the detriment of not having everybody ready to play, if that makes sense. Basically, I'm talking about like the goalie position. Do you play Carter Hart all 3 of these games, knowing that if you win all 3, and in a nutshell, one game, Carter Hart gives you the best ability to actually win tonight's game? Or do you make sure you put Brian Elliott in at least one of these games because you know as you go through your quest for the cup, you're going to need at least 2 goaltenders. Now, I know you have one, you ride them, but they don't play all 7 games in a series. And very, very rarely, if they do they end up making it far in the playoffs because they just run out of gas. I mean, you're going to need guys every game 3, game 5, whatever it is, kind of change your pace. You dump 2 in a row. You go to the backup. You kind of, start the energy of the team type of thing. So it'll kind of be fascinating to see where he weighs that, as well as playing time of guys like Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek, how he, pushes these guys. And a lot of times they don't play a ton of minutes on offense. So I do actually think they'll kind of stay similar to the status quo and where they're at here moving forward. It's the guys on the blue line, the back end guys like Ivan Provorov. Once the playoffs start, I expect to play almost 30 minutes a night. He's been right around 25 for the regular season, which people have talked about is too high for a guy to play all 82 games and then want to be a horse in the playoffs over a long period of time. I think he'll be down around the 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark. But then again, maybe you're trying to get his legs built up. So maybe he's out there even when he's tired. Maybe you're running him out there for 30 minutes, knowing you're only going to play him for 25. You want to get everybody back into game shape. I don't know. It's fascinating to kind of go back and forth and where the coaches feel. And that's where I think Alain Vigneault, being smart and having done this before with other organizations, having been to the Stanley Cup and knows how to kind of manipulate his message to the media, because Coach Vigneault is very honest with the media, but he certainly makes sure to portray that honesty with the message that he wants. So he's very good at saying, hey, this is the question you asked. Let me answer that quickly. And then let me get into what I want the message to be through the media. Let me communicate through you guys and tell you, yeah, that's cool, but this is the story I want you to write. And again, he's done that with saying August 11th, August 11th, August 11th. So then if they start 0-2, Carter Hart doesn't look good, somebody else doesn't look good, he can basically come out and say, guys, yeah, I told you, we're only planning to really show up on the 11th. We're just getting ready. This is the preseason. It's fine. These guys are a little bit, sluggish or struggling a little bit. It's okay that our feet are a little bit slow, and ultimately we're not going to get the 1 seed. And then the other side of the coin that I talk about is how important is it to move up in these seedings? Because the NHL decided that it is going to reseed every round based on seeding and not have a bracket structure. So if you're the 8 seed, you beat the 1 seed, well, you're not going to play the 4-5. If you're thinking March Madness, right? 1-8, 4-5, 6-3, 2-7. Well, if those win, 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. Well, that's not the case. So basically, if 7 wins and then 2 plays 7, and well, if 1's around, 1's going to play 7 instead of playing 4. If 7 upsets 2 and then 2-3 game, it's 3-7. No, it's not. It's 1-7. If you guys followed there, I know it's a little confusing, but I'm trying to envision a March Madness bracket as I'm kind of breaking down upsets and ultimately what would happen. So that's where we're at. And part of me is like, hey, man, get to the 1 seed, get to the 2 seed. You're going to play less competition. And with this play-in round being 5 games, 3 games, whatever it is, there's going to be some upsets that take place, and you could potentially get somebody like the Blue Jackets or the Canadians instead of the likes of the Penguins. Or who else is kind of in that 4, 5, 6 range, depending on a potential upset in the first round. So a lot to kind of go back and forth. But again, Coach Vigneault has made it certainly clear that he is on, hey, we are planning for the 11th. That's when the season starts. That's when the games start. That's when the playoffs start. And ultimately, that is where we are grinding. So, but hey, wrapping up this segment here, just I want to give a quick shout out, I guess, to the NHL. I mean, just watching the game on the television here, no fans in the stands. They're obviously in Toronto. Well, they did a really nice job, and they tarped the lower level of the arena, but they did so with NHL logos kind of interacting with each other. And it doesn't look cheesy or, it's not sponsorship saying, hey, buy a Cadillac or do what you got to do out there. So it's nice to see some of those things. They're pumping in a bit of crowd noise. I did notice that. They've been doing that with the Phillies games as well. So far, so good, I guess. I mean, you can clearly tell it's fake, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. And it's not overbearing. It's not overplayed. So, I truly am kind of okay with what they're doing. But shout out to the NHL. The Philadelphia Flyers are back. It is July 28th. We have made it. The scrimmage is over. They win 3-2 in overtime. Once again, Kevin Hayes, Sean Couturier, and Scott Lawton are your goal scorers. Like I said, they open up over the weekend, so we're going to have actual games to discuss by next Tuesday's episode. So we talked about the Phillies games. Now we're talking Flyers, and soon enough, we're going to be talking 76ers. But we'll wrap it up here for the third segment of Too Close to Call Sports in partnership with Usula Media and Usula Radio. We'll pause one last time here for a word from one of our sponsors, and wrapping up today's show. Come on back. We're going to talk 76ers. They've had a couple of scrimmages. We got some takeaways, so come on back. Let's talk about it.
Yes, we're reporting from Usula Media. We're right here at 5th and Cortlandt Street. The CEO and president is Fred Ramirez, and I'm here currently with Juan. Juan is a committee person at the 42nd Ward, 3rd Division. And he is actually, we reported this last week, where every Wednesday, now it's Thursday, from this location, they're giving out boxes of greeneries for the community. Juan, tell us a little bit about how did you get informed about this and why you think this is good for the community at this time?
Well, right now, every little bit helps the community, especially with the circumstances that we are in today. So it's just good to see businesses in the community reaching out to the community around them, which is excellent. You know what I mean? That's what we need more of.
Hello and welcome back to the fourth and final segment of Too Close to Call Sports here at Usula Media and Usula Radio. If you're listening on usulamedia.com, shout out to you. We appreciate you guys checking that out. If you haven't done so yet, head to YouTube, follow Usula Media, hit that subscribe button. That really helps us out. That way you'll be alerted when I myself am coming on here live. You can get the little buzz on your phone, check it out and interact with the show here. But do me a favor, if you haven't done so yet, pull up your iPhone, head to Apple Podcasts, check out Too Close to Call Sports. Each one of these episodes here on Usula Media is available on demand at any time on Apple Podcasts or any podcast platform. If you're rocking the Android out there, I don't mean to leave you out. Why don't you just head to Google Play or Spotify or Stitcher or Pandora? Actually, I don't think we're on Pandora. It's the only one I can't get on. But there's a bunch of them out there that we're on. So head to there. Give us 5 stars. We got a couple of new reviews this past week, or new ratings, I should say. No new reviews to read for you guys on the show, but quite a few ratings that we've increased from last year. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys going on there, clicking that and helping us out. It certainly does a lot, and we appreciate it. So head to social media too while I'm doing this. Head to social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of it. Follow Usula Media to get all your needs from a Philadelphia community perspective, local news, politics, whatever it is. Check out Usula Media, and then you can head to Too Close to Call Sports to stay up to date with all your sports information, find some funny videos, just have a laugh and have a good time online. So we appreciate you guys doing that out there. But wrapping up today's show here, coming down on the 4th segment of Too Close to Call Sports, talking Philadelphia Sixers. And like I said, literally just watching the Flyers here live, wrap things up just past 6:45. Well, now I'm heading into basketball mode, baby. We got Sixers at Mavericks or versus Mavericks. I guess it really doesn't matter since they're all in Orlando, but there are technically home and away teams. But the Sixers are playing the Mavericks at 8:30 Eastern time tonight. So that'll be available for everybody to check out. We'll see Boban, big old Boban, back in town, playing against his old squad, Tobias Harris and his old buddy going at it here. This is the 3rd and final scrimmage for the Sixers. At this point, they are 1-1. They came out hot, beat the Memphis Grizzlies. Really wasn't a competitive matchup. They had themselves a nice game working out the new lineup. And then their second matchup, they lost to the Thunder after getting out to a nice hot start and a nice lead with the starters. The rest of the guys couldn't hold on, as well as Joel Embiid did not participate in the Thunder scrimmage with a calf injury. So there's a couple of different, bullet points I want to hit on here for the final few minutes of today's episode. One of them being Joel Embiid and his calf issue. Of course, the Sixers are saying, again, it's an abundance of caution. We were just, being super smart, keeping him safe. It doesn't matter if he's playing. We're going to save him for the regular season. And I just kind of think of this on the other side of going, dude, I mean, you're what, 2 days in to the bubble in Orlando, actually playing games? You played in one game? I mean, I guess you've been practicing, but I don't know how hard they've been practicing against each other. Like, have you gone hard during the quarantine at all? Because if you didn't, and now you go hard the first time, you tweak a calf, and a calf muscle is one of those that really isn't fun to deal with. I mean, even if it's a grade 1 strain, and, grades go 1, 2, 3, 4, the higher the grade, the higher the severity. So even if it's a grade 1 strain and you're looking at a week or two, I mean, maybe this happened early enough where it's still okay. They start August 1st, and they do have 8 games. So the Phillies are in the regular season. The Birds are going to be in the regular season. NHL went straight to the playoffs. But the NBA was like, hey, we're going to give you guys kind of 8 regular season warm-up games. We want to have some teams be able to make the playoffs who weren't in. And I really just don't know how much importance that the Sixers are putting on these games. I mean, they got the Pacers on Saturday, the Spurs, Wizards, Magic, Trailblazers, Suns, Raptors, Rockets. So those are some good matchups. I mean, the Raptors obviously have NBA ambitions, NBA Finals. The Rockets, playoff team. The Spurs right there on the bubble. The Trailblazers looking to get in. So is Joel Embiid available for these matchups? Do they push him to try to increase his stamina and get his wind back to where it needs to be? Or do they just kind of let him sit and play things cautious and safe? And I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating to see this guy come back and then in one game really have an injury to deal with. I mean, come on, man. Were you not doing like the Stairmaster during quarantine? Like what's the drill here? So that's a little bit frustrating. I don't think he's participating again in tonight's matchup, although I can't find any sources here online as I'm trying to look for you, whether or not he will or won't be playing. I don't see anything either way. So I guess you'll have to tune in tonight and find out at 8:30 if Joel is on the floor, but I assume he won't be. I do think he'll try to come back for Saturday's matchup, the first to play, the regular season again. So I do think we'll see him then, but not tonight. So because of that, because Joel Embiid missed the matchup, we got a little bit more of Al Horford against the Thunder, and it continues to be some good, some not so good with Al Horford. Offensively, we saw a glimpse of really what Philadelphia is going to need come postseason time, and that was Horford going 4 of 5 from downtown, from the three-point line, showing his range, and that's really what you're going to need him to kind of be that backup 4 or 5, space the floor, stay out of the way down low. But defensively, he struggled a little bit, and particularly within the pick and roll, within the pick and pop area. And he wasn't the only one. I mean, a lot of the Sixers, truly the team, had trouble defending the pick and roll. And it really is one of the hardest plays in basketball to defend if it's executed well offensively. But there are certainly some things you can do to try to combat it. And the two-man game the Sixers were working was not being executed well. So that is one concern as you're looking at these final 8 games in the regular season. Defensively, how do they match things up now that Ben Simmons is playing the 4 position and will most likely be guarding somebody down low closer to the hoop as opposed to being the point guard, and now guarding typically there too. I know they'd switch a little bit and put somebody else on the other team's ball handler, but now Simmons will be off the ball. He'll be playing probably that number 4 guy who a lot of times is that pick and roll guy. So we'll need Simmons defensively with his length and athleticism to try to get into a lot of passing lanes, try to deflect balls, and really continue to be a menace defensively. And he has come out and said that. There were some shots taken defensively against him, and he said he wants to be Defensive Player of the Year. Things are just getting started, leading the team in steals and moving forward. So very encouraging from Ben. His attitude moving forward, not only about his offense, but his defense. And I guess we'll get into him now, but he actually took a 3-pointer. He made it, missed one, made one, but he's shooting them here a little bit. Opening day, he took a couple of them. I don't have the stats for the Thunder in front of me, but hopefully tonight he can throw up 2 or 3 more and knock them down. And the nice thing is the non-hesitation. It's not one of those, oh, I thought about it. No, I don't want to do it. Oh, you're 5 feet away from me. I better do it. Let me pull the trigger, because that's not in rhythm. Those aren't knockdown shots. Anybody out there who's played, who's kind of been like, no, yes, okay, when you're half into it, it ain't going down. It's not, you're not making it. So to see him just catch and shoot, even with the defender in a viable distance from him, to get a hand in his face, still knocking it down left-handed. The corner pocket 3 is the shortest of the 3s available. So I think Simmons will kind of find his way down there and feel most comfortable. But seeing him shoot the rock, just him wanting to take the shot. Again, kicking it to Simmons from Embiid down low. He's got to shoot it. He's got to knock it down, because if not, they'll just collapse off of him defensively, and rotations will continue to struggle. And you're just going to see a lot of in, out, and not that nice offensive flow that you're looking for from a fan's perspective. So Simmons has been impressive, almost had a triple-double in game 2 in a limited amount of minutes. So even though he's at the 4, he's still scoring, he's still rebounding, and he's still getting those assists. As you're running the pick and roll, you're getting the ball in his hands. He's able to then facilitate, drive and dish, that type of operation. So it's been nice to see, specifically with him and Shake Milton. I mean, that high-level pick and roll, Milton looks good. He continues to be a knockdown outside shooter. If you go under the ball screen under Simmons, he's making you pay for it, knocking it down. If you trail him over, that's where Simmons is having his fun, rotating towards the hoop. So I think that is going to be a key cog in the offense here for the Sixers down the stretch. We're going to see a lot of high ball screens between Milton and Simmons. Give it up, another ball screen, Simmons and Embiid, and kind of run the offense that way. It's going to be a lot of transition, a lot of movement, and specifically off-ball movement is going to be key, because as these two individuals are running the pick and roll, you just can't stand there and watch. You have to continue to flash, cut, screen to keep the defensive rotations on their toes and not just kind of set in stone and being able to defend you by essentially doing nothing. So I'm encouraged by where the Sixers are after their first 2 games. Again, we talked about the brand new lineup. How's it going to be? How's it going to break down? Shake Milton has been a positive. Again, I want to see it. So keep rolling. I'm good with that. Simmons at the 4. Josh Richardson looks good again. He looks healthy at the 3. He was battling hamstring injuries all throughout the regular season, out a couple weeks, in a couple weeks, out. Well, now he seems to be 100% and ready to go, looking more explosive offensively. Forkan Korkmaz has knocked some shots down. He's looked good. He'll be a defensive liability, as we know, but offensively, I'll take a couple. I'll take 9 a night from him, from 3 of 4 downtown, 9 points from Korkmaz. So it's been fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to tonight's matchup against the Mavericks. We'll get to watch Luka against Shake Milton. This will be a real nice test for Shake, going against somebody with the likes of Luka, ball handling skills, all-around game, jump shots. Hopefully, Luka tests Shake and prepares him for what he's going to see here in the playoffs, because he hasn't seen ball like that. I mean, coming from SMU, I'm sure he did the March Madness thing, but day in and day out, seeing the likes of top-end talent, NBA talent at the point guard position, we're going to find out where Shake Milton stacks up real quick. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be at the top, and I think it's going to be a key to the Sixers' chances. So if he can, not turn the ball over, run the offense efficiently, knock down that outside shot, I'll take that from Shake. So, but that'll wrap it up for today's episode of Too Close to Call Sports, here in partnership with Usala Media and Usala Radio. What a great show for you today. I mean, the Phillies, Marlins, that's absolute chaos happening there for the Marlins, but the Phillies saved the season. 0 positive tests. If they would have had 10, I guarantee you things would have been going crazy and shut down. So shout out to you, Phillies, saving 2020 Major League Baseball. Then we talked with Pags about the Birds, Carson Wentz getting screwed, Prescott, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. I mean, what are we doing here? And then obviously the Flyers get on the board, beat the Penguins, and then the Sixers tip off tonight in just over an hour and a half. So check that out. But thanks again, everybody, for listening. I really do appreciate it. Head to social media, head to Apple Podcasts, Google Play, do all that I ask for you. But most importantly, have yourself a good rest of the week. Try to stay safe out there. Enjoy the weather. And we'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Peace.